Morning. Well, it's that time of year again. Today I'm sailing to Foy in what promises to be shocking weather to get the boat lifted out. Proper boat work this year. I've got to replace the corner post on the cabin top and refinish all of that. I've got to reinstall the paddle wheel for the log. Lots and lots of other things. I'd like to put a proper gas locker on the boat. I'd like to do that. I've got to repaint the deck. I've got to take off all the cleats that somebody has very carefully painted and get them re-galvanised and fitted so they look like cleats instead of just some weird moulded part of the boat. They're away. I hate getting lifted out. I don't like it. Make an attempt to steer. I'm going to try and make it the last one this year though. I'm going to try and get all the major stuff done so it's just fitting out, buggering about, and then I don't have to get it lifted out because in comparison to a lot of places it's probably not expensive, but that 6 month lift out cost me 700 quid every year and I can't afford it. So once she goes in at the end of this one, she's staying in for a while, I think. Those of you that follow my channel regularly will remember last year's lift out where I motored all the way to Foy in perfect sunshine, flat calm weather, and yeah, a really nice temperature too. It's pretty grim out there today. I don't normally have music on the boat when I'm sailing, but today I need cheering up. Well, that's probably not the music to do it though, is it? Autopilot's doing well. Let me just adjust the course. 10 degrees to starboard, please. Thank you. Lovely light over there. Probably can't get it on the GoPro. It's kind of misty and bluish over the top of the hill there. Lovely. Had a run in with the Tamar ferry, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Tor Point ferry. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but we've got lovely sunshine and flat water here, and just out into the bay there you can see the sea is really whipping up there. Nice. So I'm approaching the Tamar ferry, the Tor Point ferry there. And I can see that one, the light starts to flash and it's starting to move. So I think, okay, he's going to cross in front of me. Then the one on my starboard side starts to move, flashes, starts to move. I think he's going to cross as well. So I reduce speed, and I reduce it right down, but I've got a spring tide and the wind behind me. No sails up, but only a 10 horsepower engine, you know. So I didn't bring it to a dead stop, I just brought it slowed right down, started drifting down on them. And I think the long and the short of it is what happened was I got a little bit too close for the ferry on my starboard side's comfort. So he decided to, well, he did what in his mind was the safest thing, which is just stop. At which point, it's that moment that always happens where everyone's going, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He's doing that about me, I'm doing that about him. I did a little pirouette there. I made my intentions very clear that I wasn't crossing in front of him. But at that point he decided to stop anyway. So he ended up with a little bit of a standoff. I passed in front of him. But he's not happy about it, is he? And he stood there and threw his arms up, you know. There's only so much I can do, really. And then the police boat came and had a word, and I explained to them. I knew what to do and I was trying to do it, but I've only got so much to work with, you know. They were alright about it anyway, but excellent. Yeah, look, I've literally just popped out and already the sea's building. Look at this. Once we get out of this little bay, it should improve a bit. We'll see. See, and this is why when I put to sea, no matter what the weather's going to be, I always batten everything down there. So nothing's going to jump around, nothing's going to fall out of the shelves or anything. There can't be any disasters below deck, in theory. Yeah, the forecast was 1.5 to 2 metres of swell today, combined swells on a total sea state. And that's a lot, but this is more than that. Okay then, quick update. I have failed out. I'm turning back into Plymouth. I'm going to have a look in Corsan Bay and see what the sea state is like in there. With this swell and this wind, it should be alright in there, quite protected. And what I'm going to do is drop the anchor for the night because this is ridiculous. I can't really get round the corner here at Rainhead. I've got 20 knots of headwind, which is going to come round during the day and become more headwind. And quite big seas. Now overnight that's forecast to blow itself out and turn into northerlies or northeasterlies. That would mean I could sail all the way there, and the sea state tomorrow is predicted to be half what it is today. So ultimately, tomorrow is looking like a much better day, and it just means that I'll have to spend the night at anchor in Corson. I've got plenty of food on the boat. It should be okay. Yeah, there we go. Have a look at this. So look, in the interest of well, transparency really, I've made a huge cock up here. The boat was supposed to be getting lifted out today. Obviously it can't happen now, and the boatyard can't lift me out tomorrow either. What that means is I've either got to sail to Foy and put it on the boatyard's mooring for till the next spring tide, you know, 8-10 days, whatever, till that starts to come up again, maybe a week, I don't know, or sail home. So I'm going to sail home. Either way, I'm going to need my dinghy, which I've deflated and stowed on the deck. You can just see it there. Because I wasn't going to need that anymore. And I've left the pump to the dinghy in the boot of my car. We live and we learn, don't we? So the rule now is going to be that whenever I've got the dinghy with me, whether it's pumped up or not pumped up, whether I'm going to use it or not use it, if the dinghy is with me, the pump is going to be with me as well. Stupid lack of foresight. Too many other things I'm thinking about. That's no excuse. Dick. What a dick. Anyway, a rescue plan is currently in action. It's a very high spring tide, so I should be able to get up to the quay in Car Green, collect the pump, and pump the dinghy up back on the way back to the mooring, put the boat on the mooring, put the dinghy back in the water, put the strops back on the mooring. Jeez, what a nightmare. And wrap it up there. Man, I'm exhausted. Okay, let's sum up today's amazing adventure then. So I turned back, obviously. It's good seamanship, isn't it? It was a safety issue. I don't know whether the video really shows how big the waves were there, but they were huge. Dunking the boat fore and aft, just pitching backwards and forwards. And then, you know, when I turned back to come back in, and the waves were getting under the side of the boat, just huge, huge waves. And a headwind all the way there of 20 knots. Just could not have done it. It would have been one hell of a day on my own. Anyway, the choice was press on or go back. I went back. I'm glad I did. Let's talk about these ferries. I buggered it up there, but let me just, I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Tor Point ferries, let me just use this handy visual analogy here. So here are the three Tor Point ferries. I timed it on the way back. They each take 5 minutes to cross the river, and they depart every 10 minutes. And let's say this is your boat here. And what you have to do, of course, these are on chains, by the way. They're not driven with propellers. They're on chains, so you can't cut in too close to them. They say. I mean, the chains, you know, unlikely to pose too much of a problem, but you can't cut in too close to them. You just got to be aware of it. They're on chains. It doesn't take long throughout the day for these departures to bunch up a little bit, and then what you get is this effect across the. And you've got to try and get behind them. But this one's been there for 10 minutes now, so he's starting on his way back, and they kind of do this all day long. It's Space Invaders, isn't it? It's Space Invaders. I mean, I've done it 100 times. It's a wonder there hasn't been an issue before, but I need to give that some thought, because you simply can't have that. It's a very bad show. Yeah, I mean... I mean, there does come a point where there's always a ferry crossing, doesn't there? Or maybe they have some routine in place to make sure that never happens. But I mean, I have seen it where there's at least two streaking across the river and one that's loading, and when you're approaching, you just don't know who's going to do what or anything. The difficulty comes, of course, is when as you're approaching, they're all beached already. You don't know how long they've been there. You can see cars coming in and out of one of them, but not the other one. Sometimes one of the ferries isn't running, so you never know whether it's 3 ferries or 2 ferries. So if you keep going, one doesn't move, you think, oh, it's only 2 ferries then today. But you don't actually know whether that 3rd ferry is going to start streaking across the river. They do about 5 knots, I suppose. They max out at 5 knots. So does Roquetta, handily enough. So I don't have the power to outrun them. I don't know how I'm going to get around that. I'm going to have to come up with something though. Lots of thought. I'm going to think about it a lot. Alright, quick taste of things to come then. So I didn't manage to get to the boatyard today, obviously. One of the jobs I've got to do this year is the corner post, because they're as rotten as a pear. And I've fashioned these beautiful corner posts out of sapele. And I've been down them with a router and just put a little sort of end on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I've scored this piece of off-cut Iroko, which cost me £8. I mean, that's only half of it, the other half is in the corner. And laminated that to some sapele there. When they're fitted, they will be like that. This is probably about the same size as what's in there already. This is substantially bigger, so what's in there already is really only beading. It isn't a corner post as such, it's just a piece of square beading that's in there, and is as rotten as a pear, of course. And what happens is the sides of the cabin and the front of the cabin pretty much meet each other. So this, on the existing setup, this completely fills the gap, and then there's just a square bit of beading that sits in and covers it. That isn't really, I mean, I don't like to say proper, because nothing I do is proper really, but that isn't really the right design for a corner post. This is, it should be a backing piece here that the sides of the cabin screw into, and this substantial bit of wood that is screwed on through there. I mean, this is one way to do it in 2 halves like that. The other way to do it is to make this whole thing out of one solid bit, but if you imagine the size of the bit of wood you would need to get that out of, in this dimension, those things do not exist. The plane of existence that I inhabit, you can't get hardwood that is 8 inches by 8 inches square. You can't get it. So I've really got no choice but to do that, to do it that way. I think it's going to be nice though. So from the outside, all you'll see is that varnish sapele. And from the inside, all you'll see is that varnish sapele, which is going to be nice. And of course, Iroko is rot resistant, good screw holding, all the rest of it. It's the right thing to use for that. I've laminated with epoxy, so that's going to be nice. Anyway, I'm out. See you next time.